Xexor. This is a Let's Play I'm going to do of Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templars. The original was in 1996. This was re-released in 2009, I think? Maybe 2007, actually. 2007, I think. So it was redone to work with Mac, iOS, and some other systems. So I played a game, the third one in this series. I've not played this one, so this is actually a Let's Play. This is part one, of course. I have continue because I had started actually very slightly, and then as I tried to record, and the recording failed. So I'm just going to start over. So I technically played like maybe 5 minutes worth. So we'll just start again, and hopefully this recording is working now. So,
Paris, city of love, romance,
just so you're aware, this is a
dreams.
point-and-click adventure. So you don't use keys on your keyboard to move around.
Too. But ever since that day,
pretty much just
the day of the murder, I've always
click where you want to go, what you want to
associated
examine, and so on.
With death.
So the third one I played in the series was, I thought, pretty fun. I enjoy adventure games in general, so hopefully this will be equally fun. This has been a very well-rated series overall, so... I think they do a decent job with the music in this series also. I remember the third game, Broken Sword, The Sleeping Dragon, that I played, had really good music for the opening as well. So this is an earlier game, so this is more cartoony than later installments in the series. But that's alright. I think as a whole it will be good. It'll be interesting to try to kind of figure things out and so on. Like I said in the past, I play a variety of games. So I have 3 Let's Play games I'm doing at a time. This is actually kind of an exception. I'm going to do this as a fourth, kind of as an in-between.
I'll
play occasionally.
Having a bath when my editor called.
Collard, get your ass over to the Palais Royal now. You got an interview. With Pierre Carchon. Yes, the Pierre Carchon. No photos, so leave your gear at home. He asked for you personally. Don't ask me why. Anyhow, this could be big, so if he makes a pass, don't forget. Just smile, say yes, and keep taking notes.
So charming and so very apt. Pierre Carchon was a media king, a national hero, and one of the most infamous adulterers in Europe. He and his wife Imelda were just one step down from royalty. Whoa, I hate mimes, but unless you humor them, they don't go away. Here I was, the palace of the media king and the ice queen. I pressed the doorbell and set in motion a chain of events which would change my life forever.
Yes? What is it?
Madame, my name is Nico Collard. I'm here to see Monsieur Carchon.
Come up, we're on the first floor.
Madame Carchon, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, I'm sure.
The Ice Queen was certainly living up to her reputation. Will you be staying for the interview?
Mademoiselle, I know little of my husband's business affairs, and I care even less. I certainly have no intention of watching him pore over yet another pretty little journalist.
Pretty? You're too kind, madame.
Ah, the talented and very beautiful Mademoiselle Collard. Such a pleasure to meet you at last.
Monsieur Carchon, I am honored.
Oh, I'm sure you are.
Call me Pierre, please. But I do not flatter you idly. I was a friend of your father. He was a great man.
My father? He never mentioned.
He and I were very close. And then his death. So tragic. I must... Imelda, your damned cat's in my study again. Another Ming vase, I suppose. Excuse me for one moment, my dear girl.
You journalists are getting younger each year.
Perhaps it's the rest of the world getting older, madame. That was no cat.
God, what? Monsieur Carchon!
He's dead. I must call the police. You'd better stay here.
There was a man. It was the mime. Do you think he...
Well, I believe we can rule out suicide, don't you?
No wonder they called her the Ice Queen. She would have been top of my list of suspects if I hadn't seen the attacker myself. And if I hadn't come across a couple of murders just like this already. One of the most important men in Europe murdered. And here was I, Nico Collard, alone at the scene of the crime. Should I wait for the cops? Or start my own investigation? It was a no-brainer.
Okay, I'm gonna see... Oh, oops, that's not what I want. I want... That one? No. Where is it? Ah, here. Subtitles on. Okay, making sure that they are on. Looks like during some cutscenes they're not, but... So this gives you instructions on what you can do. So you can basically move your mouse pointer around. You have different options. So this here is your, basically this menu. This is your inventory, which I don't have anything right now. This is your diary. Shows you notes that you've got so far. And then this here basically gives you like, interface as well, but it just kind of gives you hints in general. So, so as any point-and-click adventure, you basically wander around and you examine things.
Mimes and guns don't usually go together, but I had an idea that this was no ordinary mime.
So here's the
I'd come across this murderer
talking.
before and written about him. The costume killer, at least that's what I'd called him.
Uh-huh.
It was one of my hair clips. My favorite, in fact. It must have fallen when I was knocked down. Some people hate searching corpses for clues. Me, I'm okay with it. Reminds me of an old boyfriend. I closed his eyes. It was the least I could do for the poor fellow. In his pocket, I found a ticket stamped Bateau de la Conciergerie. Taking the ticket meant I tampered with the evidence. There was no going back now. Carchon had been shot.
I could open his eyes again, probably, but no, we won't worry about that. Okay, let's see what else we can find in this room. If I remember from the last time I played.
The bookcase was filled with obscure first editions.
Well, that's right. Nothing there. It's a bust of him.
A bust of Pierre Carchon, humble servant of La France.
Another one. Over here.
Pierre Carchon again. His eyes seemed to follow me around the room. A small round piece of glass had been cut out of the pane. This was a professional job. The killer must have used a ladder to reach the window. He was long gone. Guess he folded that ladder up, popped it in his pocket and took it with him.
Okay, let's see what else. I don't know if there's anything else in the room to examine. Trying to go around quickly. No. Okay, I don't think so, so let's go ahead and go out.
The police could turn up at any minute. Somewhere there were clues to the murder, and I needed to find them. The door was locked. A Louis XIV table with an antique cloth. Imelda had taste. But hey, with a husband that rich, taste is easy. I reckoned that cloth might just turn out to be useful. Even my fingernail wouldn't fit into such a small hole.
Aha, but... So it tells you how to use your inventory. Go like this, hold it over that, and...
Aha! Nico, you are just so damn good at this stuff. Instead of comforting Imelda, I was ransacking her flat. Why? Because there was something going on here, and I had to get answers before the cops arrived. And hey, she'd been rude to me, so she had it coming.
Okay, and then this right here always is basically back out of the current screen, so...
It was a tube of acrylic paint. French ultramarine. Just the color I was after for my bathroom.
I'm sorry, I have to go. Someone is...
Young lady, what are you doing?
Oh, this paint. It's my favorite color.
For God's sake, keep the damn stuff.
Imelda had talent, but I certainly wasn't going to tell her that. There was no one I needed to phone, not until I had solved this case.
Excuse me, madame.
Yes?
So as you see, you have a little mouth icon when you hover over her, for example, to use that. And then these are the individuals about whom you can have a conversation with her. This is her husband. This is your father. Remember, he had said that he knew your father, so this is your father. And then this is the mime. And then, of course, you have these objects, but...
I am so sorry for your loss, madame.
No, you're not. You're a journalist. Journalists don't feel sorry.
Not true.
We shall see.
Why did your husband send for me? What did he want to discuss?
I have no idea. His business was his business.
He never told you anything.
No, and frankly, I preferred it that way.
How did your husband know my father?
I have no idea.
You didn't know him? Pierre Collard?
Pierre knew a lot of people I didn't know, most of them women.
Because he's a womanizer. That's all right.
Why would a mime want to kill your husband?
Pierre had plenty of enemies. Half the husbands in Paris, for a start. This is quite a scoop for you. I suppose you're already inventing the headlines.
Just because I am a journalist.
Don't patronize me. You're all cut from the same cloth. Do you have any moral sense at all?
Now, here's where interesting. You could choose this, or you could choose some evil version. I really don't know how she'll react if you choose the evil. I know how she reacts if you choose the good, and that's the one I want to follow, so we'll just do that one for now. But if anybody ever plays this, you could always try this and see, and I might even do it separately and see, but...
Yes, that's why I do this job.
You do it to see your name in print.
As if. My editor gets the byline, I just do the work.
Well, don't expect my sympathy.
The police will be here soon, madame. Is there anybody you would like me to contact? Family, friends?
No, I have no family. Pierre and I were... He was all I had, really. Not much, was it? The dutiful wife. That was my role. He never talked, never let me in.
I know one thing, madame.
What?
If you want to find out who killed your husband, then you let me do the job, not the police.
Why? How do I know I can trust you?
And then again, do the devilish, or that good.
Your husband invited me here today because he needed me. I think he knew somebody wanted to kill him, and he knew I could help.
I doubt it was your database he was after.
You're wrong. I was onto his killers already, I am sure of it. Please, you owe it to him.
I don't know.
All I need is a few more minutes to look around before the police come.
You really do have a moral sense, don't you? I trust so few people. And perhaps Pierre really did think that you could help. Of course it wouldn't have stopped him seducing you, too. Here, take this. It's the key to the drawing room next to the library at the end of the hall. It was Pierre's room. I rarely went in there. I couldn't. I was too scared of what I might find.
Thank you. I promise you won't regret this.
Okay. So, oops, let's do that.
I thought of leaving, but was sure there was more to find.
Oh, so that's exit. That's leaving. Okay. Keep going this way. So the drawing room is going to be at the very end. So just keep walking that way. In later installments, it's not point and click. It's much more, it's not still your totally action-based, but you use arrow keys to move around and so on, if I remember right, from in Part 3. So.
The door was locked.
She gave me this key, right? So.
Now we were getting somewhere.
So the hand does a little arrow to move on to the next scene. You can see right there, in case you had missed that. So, okay.
The painting showed the Carchons together, in love. As the poet said, the past is a different country.
Or did I read that in a fortune cookie?
The painting was attached firmly to the wall.
Oh.
There was the very faintest of
Nice.
clicks. Behind the picture was a safe.
I wonder. That looks like a key spot. That kind of looks like that'd fit in there, huh? 2 grooves here and a little extension here. Let's try that. Whoops, that didn't work. Let's try. There we go. Highlights yellow around it when you can use something, so.
In the safe was some kind of artifact. There were strange symbols on its surface.
It looked like the printer's blocks I'd made at art school. If there was one thing I'd learned about symbols, they are always important. But these symbols scratched into stone were impossible to read.
I needed to find a way of printing them. At least the stone was round. But what could I use for ink? And what could I print on?
Sure, I was stealing, but I knew Imelda didn't know about the artifact, and Carchon was past carrying.
Okay.
This wasn't the time for me to lie on the sofa doing my Marie Antoinette impression. Though it is very popular at parties, especially with gay guys. Don't ask me why.
Okay. I don't even know that as a cut at homosexuals, but okay. Okay, so over to the desk, I guess.
As expected, the desk was yet another priceless antique. Yawn. The blotter and in tray had clearly been placed with mathematical precision. My heart skipped a beat. It was a carved elephant.
But not just any carved elephant. It had been made by my father. I knew for certain because in my apartment I had its exact twin, carved into a box he had made.
So Carchon had known my father.
They really must have been friends.
I decided to take the carved elephant.
It clearly meant nothing to Imelda.
Okay, nice.
I didn't need a sheet of blotting paper. Not while it was blank.
Ah, blotting paper. Okay. I think I know. Let's see, I have... There's no ink in there now, but I've got this paint I could probably use.
I'd spread blue paint over the bottom of the tray. It was ruined. I was a very bad girl, but also quite a clever one.
So, because she had said she wanted a way to print this, right? So, if I do that, get the ink on that, and then I can put it on the blotting paper, right?
I rolled the artifact in the paint until it was completely coated.
Now, I'll take the coated... You'll note too they make some changes, so this is now coated in ink where before it wasn't. So it's kind of cool. They make some variations so you could tell things progress naturally. Realistically, it'd have ink on it, not just be plain.
Genius. The roller and the paint worked just as I planned. But what did it say?
Subjudice. SDSSDSS. Not sure, but...
It was some kind of coded message. It read, subjudice. I may not have learned a lot as a journalist, but that was a term I knew well. It means a legal case that is before the courts. Below it was a sequence of letters that made no sense.
Well, make no sense now.
I suddenly realized there was a connection between the boat ticket and the coded message. The boat ticket was stamped Bateau de la Conciergerie. The Conciergerie on the Ile de la Cité, by the river, housed the ancient law courts. So, subjudice could in this case mean literally under the law courts, below the Conciergerie. I was pretty sure I'd found all I could here. And besides, all this opulence was making me pine for my regular life of poverty. This was a huge story. It was also one heck of a puzzle with a lot of pieces missing. But I was going to crack it. And if I could just remember the name of that fancy prize you get for being an ace journalist, I was definitely going to win it this time.
I see. Okay, so, in the journal, let's see. So, I mean, this includes stuff that you don't necessarily need either, right? Like, she was disturbed by a phone call while she was in the bath, creepy mime outside the apartment, Madame Carchon, cold as ice, Monsieur Carchon, suave and charming, living up to his reputation, played along with his flirtation. Sound of a vase smashing in. Monsieur Carchon went to investigate a gunshot, rushed to the room, and found him standing over Carchon's body. Mademoiselle beckoned as I walked him. He punched me, and so on. You could read all these. Just pause the video if you want to read through them. This is the last one, I think. I should follow the clues exactly by going to the quayside of the Ile de la Cité, literally under the Conciergerie. So, Ile de la Cité is where we want to go. So, and subjudice, I can't talk today. Subjudice, SDSSDSS, whatever these letters are. I don't know about the letters, but anyway. So, okay, so that is it for this Let's Play. The Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templars, the Director's Cut, Part 1. I'm Xexor. I've been your host. I will see you in the next part at some point. It may not be sooner rather than later. It just depends on when my next games arrive that I'm planning on doing. And, of course, I need to do more Lollipop Chainsaw and Spec Ops The Line. So, I will see you in the next part of whatever video that you watch. Until then, peace.